Hello, friends. May 14th, 2023. It's Mother's Day. If you didn't call your mom, you better shoot her a phone call right now. And I'm going to change my shirt. I forgot. Sorry. Oh. Now we're ready. This shirt's magic. I love it. I'm cooking some rice. Soon to put some black beans in there. I'm cooking rice and enchilada, red sauce. And then I'll put 2 cans of tuna fish. And then maybe get that a little warm. And then put a bunch of cheese on it and then eat it. Yeah. Is that ASF? Good evening, friend. Oh. Well, I have no idea what we'll talk about when it comes to news. First, I want to tell you some painfully boring electrical engineering details. Man, you can't be eating all that tuna fish. It's loaded with mercury. I know, but I don't know what to do right now. I might have to just knock off that tuna fish and just be beans and rice. That's a full protein and vegetables. Okay, so I used my voltmeter today, the new one, to test the current coming off the solar panels. And this was about 5 o'clock, and it was only 5 amps. It should be nearly 8 amps. And 5 amps puts it at 1,080 watts. So I might spend all day tomorrow, a couple hours, labeling the panels 1 through 10 and measuring the power output of every one of them. Yeah. Try to do it as quick as possible at the same time of day. So that's a fair test. And I think what I'm going to learn is that solar panels only have the ability for peak power at certain times of the day, like between 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock, when it's directly overhead, something like that. I was in air conditioning uninterrupted for 2.5 hours, and it was great. When we started off, the room was 107, and then within a half hour, it was 95, and then an hour, it got down to 88 degrees, and it being 100 outside. So it was 12 degrees lower than the outside temperature, and it felt great. Hello, Adam. Welcome. And let's say my AC needs 1,000 watts and the panels are only 800 watts. So then it was grabbing 200 watts from the batteries to complete the need. And so the batteries went kaputs after 2.5 hours. I'm getting closer. I'm trying to smile. I got so many challenges in life. However, I don't have cancer, right? Notice I said the word challenges. I purposely don't say problems. And somebody says you don't have. I think it was Zig Ziglar. He says, "Don't say you have problems. Cancer's a problem. If you got cancer, then you can say you have problems. But you don't have problems. You have challenges. And by reframing your challenges, life isn't so hard because cancer's a bitch, right? Cancer's a serious problem. Trials and tribulations. That's right, Adam. And I was out here and I just yelled to God, "Oh God, why have you blessed me with this property?" God replied, "Because you deserve it, Wayne. You've earned it. I love you." Instead of people, people are yelling at God, "Why have you cursed me?" I said, "God, why have you blessed me? I love my desert property. Like, I just watched the sun go down, and I got a moth staring at me right now. Maybe he'll let me show you. He's on the can here. Yeah, there he is. Look at his eyes. You don't like being on camera? Come on. He's looking at me. He keeps turning around like, "What are you doing?" My mom has Alzheimer's. That is a problem. Totally. Yeah. Cancer is, well, death is a cruel punishment because, well, not everybody loves life like I do, but like literally the moment life is getting exciting and you know everything and you don't have those youthful insecurities about the world. Like, I kind of spent the first 30 years chasing women. And yeah. And now I don't do that. Um, I finally learned that women find me attractive and just wait for a woman to say, to make herself available. So, hey, Lando Calrissian. And yeah. Speaking of women, I talked to my campaign manager today, and she's getting pretty excited. She's kind of putting the cart before the horse, and I'm just trying to encourage her to, well, maybe pump the brakes a little bit. She's just super excited. So, I've got to do more work. I got to put my campaign promises on my Lambright.com, and we're going to get our bank account figured out in the next week or so. And I'm sure there will be some snafus with the Federal Election Commission. We will have not checked a box or didn't do something right. And then once I get the bank account, I can start raising money from the public. And I'm going to try to come up with swag. So when you donate a certain amount of money, you also get like a hat or a t-shirt with your campaign contributions. I'm not sure if other candidates do that. I know Donald Trump was selling hats at $50 a whack or something. I don't think he gave you anything for donating money to his campaign. I'm not sure. So maybe you guys can let me know how it works with other politicians. I just want to make sure that anybody who donates money to my campaign gets something as a thank you gift. And I told my campaign manager, I said, well, initially I might have to silk screen the t-shirts myself. And that's not so hard. It's a little bit of work, but a handmade silkscreen shirt from Wayne might be fun for people, right? And yeah, I did a lot of reading last night about, I might have talked about this already, but I learned how I can pay myself money. I can give myself a salary, not to exceed what the office pays. So if I'm elected to be president, the president has a salary, and it happens to be 400,000. So I can't pay myself a salary that exceeds that. I wouldn't need a $400,000 salary, so I might just take like a $50,000 salary. I can always increase it if I want, and that would just leave more money available to pay more people to do things. My bills are next to nothing, so if I have to fly somewhere, the campaign pays for those kinds of things. I'll make a promise now to never fly first class. I'll fly coach so I can save money, that kind of thing. Like literally, it's the smart choice because you'd be sitting around a bunch of people where you could talk politics and forget all that pre-boarding stuff. It would be better to be hanging out with people in the airport, talking about politics, taking notes, taking photos with people, stuff like that. Anyways, I'm super excited about that. I came up, well, I went to, hey, get off there. Get down. It's a mouse. Literally, more probably rat. He's living under my couch. He might have burrowed a hole. You know how couches have that fabric that covers the inside of the couch? I bet you he's turned the bottom of my couch into his big apartment. And no, the rat doesn't have a name. He startled me. I was like sleeping, and it came up before we. I went. I blew some air on him. If he keeps his distance, that'll be fine. I don't want him living in here because I don't want the snake to be like, well, I only came in here waiting because I smelled a rat, kind of thing. Yeah. No snakes for a week. Apparently there's snake season, which probably is springtime. I don't know. I'm learning about it. Anyways, I want to pander to the young voters. I know pandering is not the right word. I want to encourage young people to vote for me through incentives. I think it's just easier to call it pandering. And so I've come up with some really, really good ideas. Well, first of all, the youth don't vote because they're playing video games too much. So it's so hard to pry that fucking joystick out of their hand. And so how do I incentivize them? And the answer is free video games. If I could reduce my voters' video game purchasing budget per year. What are you doing? He's doing laps. Anyways, the answer is the library. I don't think the library has video games. They're like $60 each, and I'll find a way to give libraries more money so they can buy hundreds of copies of the most current games. Like literally ridiculous loads. Like the library will have 1 or 2 copies of a DVD of a movie. I'm talking like 100 copies. I'll try to get a photo, like if he's patient. He's really cute. He is really cute. But I did have a rabies shot 3 years ago, so I just, you don't want to get bit by a rat. You just don't know what could be going on. So sometimes he steps on my foot, scares the crap out of me. The problem is most games are digital distribution platforms, so it's harder to share games. Well, when I see the game booth at Walmart, aren't those DVDs? And Lando, thank you for telling me this. So I am aware of something at the library for digital products, and it's an app, and it applies to audiobooks and music, and it lets you enjoy that stuff for like a week. It's a digital rights royalty mechanism. I forget the name of it. It's got a weird name like Bango or Jukebox, something weird. I'll figure out the name. Also, for kids who can't afford video games, when I was a kid, the library had VCRs. And if you couldn't afford a VCR, you could take home a VCR for like a week or two and watch movies at home. And then you had to give the VCR back so somebody else could use it. And so I think the library should have like 10 or 20 Xboxes where you get to use it for a week or 2 weeks and then bring it back. All right, that's first idea. Second idea, I think everybody's going to love this. I'm going to come up with free college. I'm going to copy all the things Europe has, like what all the good gives that Europe has. I'm going to try to give to America, and we can use artificial intelligence and online college to help people get a college degree. And I think we should have the Ivy League universities produce an Ivy League accredited university degree. So I think there's 12 Ivy Leagues. You want to get a degree from Yale or Harvard? Well, then you participate with the government-funded Harvard online curriculum. And when you graduate, you'll have a degree from Harvard. Why not? It's just digital. Ones and zeros doesn't cost them hardly anything. And if we don't interact with a human and we use artificial intelligence to grade papers, do the academics like stand behind their general like ideology that teaching people is better for society? I think they agree to things like this. So, and also I want to do that student loan forgiveness. Now, there's a lot of people who passed on college because they didn't want to get into debt, and their life has been financially harder for them. So maybe we'll give them like a small amount of money to take off a few years to get their college degree if they want. That's the other thing. If you want to go to college full time, you need a place to live. So I think the 3D printed concrete homes, while you're going to school, would be good, and you get a small amount of, we'll have universal basic income. We got to come up with really good ideas that will propel America into the future. Training people to work at Taco Bell and Walmart is super low IQ, and we're better than that. And also, Walmart and Taco Bell are going to turn into robots. I just see Taco Bell being run by robots pretty quick. I think they're doing the drive-through order. I think I heard somebody was using Chat GPT to take orders at a franchise fast food restaurant. I don't want to say the name. Well, Lando, you'll have to consult me on this when we get more money and I'm building my campaign promises. I want to get this ironed out. What did I came up with? What did I say? Video games are a $280 billion a year business. That's a lot of money. And maybe it's time for game developers. They're not necessarily in it for the big money. Some might just be in it to make games that are fun. So they don't need to be rich. They just need a little bit of money from a lot of people. And so maybe games based on Linux, the Linux operating system. So maybe it's time to make a game box that's designed to perform well with Linux. And so an open source machine with similar architecture to an Xbox or a PlayStation 5. And yeah, maybe open source gaming. And now a game development company could have, like, I'll just use an example like Grand Theft Auto. I'm not saying Grand Theft Auto is going to be open source, but you make a game. And the people who develop the game have the rights to charge commercial fees for it that are reasonable. However, it's open source. So if somebody who has a lot of talent wants to add a cool dimension or a plug-in to Grand Theft Auto in this example, would be able to maybe with the approval of the parent company say, yeah, we like what you're doing, and yeah, you can sell that. And they do like a revenue share. Maybe you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you want extraterrestrials from outer space in the game. And that doesn't exist. And so you make it. Yeah, see? Lando's hitting the ball here. I know there are some open source game engines like Godot, JMonkey Engine, Pygame, Panda 3D. Yeah. There's lots of kids in the world who are poor. And so these Xboxes and PlayStations are for only rich kids. Imagine you're living in Africa, like you're in a mud hut. Your parents can't afford a $70 game. That's insane. They couldn't afford a 70-cent game. So it would be nice if the rich people of the world made games for the poor people. I'm actually not sure how that helps me get in the White House. What I'm trying to do is really fix all the problems that are visible in America. I got to make a list of all the perceived problems: bureaucracy, infrastructure, healthcare, the Veterans Administration, a corrupt stock market. We need to actually abolish the banks. There's no reason to have banks. The federal government can be a bank. There's no reason for taxes. They know how much you make. There's no reason for you to go through all the hurdles of filing taxes. If they know how much you make, then they just shave off that amount for them. So Ross Perot said America's like the tax system's an inner tube with 1,000 patches, and we just need a new inner tube. He had proposed the flat tax, and I'm going to propose no tax, and that the government just prints more money to pay for its bills. And also a reduction in the federal government. Like the federal government, it's kind of like that old joke. How many people does it take to screw in a light bulb? 6. 1 to hold the light bulb and 6 to hold the ladder and spin it. Something stupid like that. Like, our government isn't very efficient. And they use the excuse, well, there's all this red tape and it's really good. It's better than nothing. Well, that's a bullshit attitude. Like, they purposely made it fucked up so everybody can milk the government somehow. My biggest problem is crime and corruption. Like, come on, let's talk about New York City. I haven't been to New York City in like 15 or 20 years. And the crime on the subway, like, you're taking your life in your hands if you take the subway. It just seems so foolish that they don't have police officers on every car. Wayne, there are a lot of issue companies outsourcing work to overseas dev centers, Boeing outsourcing. Oh, yeah. Software development work to India. They are trying to kill software engineers here. Oh, yeah. I think here's what I would propose. I'm just off the top of my head. If you sell things to the government, like Boeing sells helicopters and other aircraft, I think even the tilt rotor, like the VF-22, If you have government contracts to sell things to the government, 100% of that labor has to come from America. You can't outsource anything. And all the money going to Boeing for those military whatevers has to be made in America. Not one screw can be outsourced, not one paper gasket, nothing. Problem solved. Yeah. And actually, we shouldn't, like, China. The only reason China's going big right now is because they use slave labor, and they human rights abuses, and they have terrible environmental protection laws, and they don't have workers' rights. So yeah, prices for their goods are cheaper because at the cost of human suffering and putting people in danger's way. I've seen photos of big industrial whatevers, and they have a liquid waste, like a raw industrial sewage, not poop, but industrial sewage, heavy metals just going into a ravine. And that's where people's drinking water can come from, or it's right by their house, or they have to step through that mud to go on their way to their rice field. And those environmental contaminations have long-term consequences for the humans who live within a vicinity of that factory. How's your mom, Wayne? She was in really good spirits. She was at my aunt's house in Newport Beach. Hey, Wayne, are you still thinking of getting a truck? Yes, I desperately need a truck with a trailer hitch. And but I don't have any money to buy one. And also open in California if it's 1975 or older. It doesn't need to be smogged. So I have a small fantasy of putting a diesel Mercedes engine in that truck so it gets great gas mileage. You have a 1992 truck. Right on. Would you like to donate it? I know a dude with a diesel Mercedes. Well, and you know me, I got 2 diesel Mercedes. You could, you don't use it? That would be awesome. Maybe I just have it for like a year or 2 and give it back to you when I get on my feet. Like, for example, there was a few boats for free on Craigslist with title, trailer, boat, engine. Yeah, that's good. 4-cylinder gas, 92 truck. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The major need I have with a truck is a trailer hitch. I really want to get things. Well, so like that boat. That boat was fully intact. Even the seats weren't sun damaged. Like they might have even had the boat covered. Like, and this was a boat from the early 70s. Oh, I don't care if it leaks oil. It would leak a lot of oil to drive it there though. Well, oil's cheap. I mean, even if I had to drive it across America, like you can put some stuff in the oil that makes the seals swell so that it leaks less oil. And if the oil leak is just cost prohibitive, I can work on it and put in a new seal. I mean, yeah, you got some of that stuff. Like nobody wants to do a rear engine main seal because you got to pull the motor, and it's not the end of the world. I've pulled a lot of motors, and I don't have a cherry picker, but I could make one out of wood. I could build like a wood cherry picker. I didn't know you're mechanically inclined. Oh yeah, Yolanda, I used to be a mechanic at the BMW dealer, and I have a whole bunch of tools here. I'm a well, and when you work at BMW, you're bumper to bumper, so you do everything. Uh, I'll say I've never rebuilt an automatic transmission. However, I know how they work. I know how they wear out. The clutch packs wear out. Lots of debris starts floating around, makes the pistons not be as smooth as they need to be, and the rubber seals deteriorate over years because of the oil and the heat. So to rebuild an automatic transmission, you take it all apart, you make everything super fucking clean, super fucking clean. You get it all dry, then you get a bunch of transmission fluid that's super clean. You put all the little O-rings in the fluid, and then you reassemble everything and use your torque wrench, and most likely everything's going to be fine. I used to have a California smog license in 1988, and I had to go through some schooling for that, and it teaches you to basically tune up every car sold in America. I mean, it's not so hard, really. You have electric fuel injection, you have carburetors, you have electric ignition, and you have points and condensers, you have timing. That's really it. And then you have to know how to troubleshoot where problems come from, but there's sniffers for the exhaust. And if you have high hydrocarbons, that can mean many things, like a spark plug is not fully sparking, a bad plug wire. You can put it on the oscilloscope and you can see how much electricity is being used in the system. And I know how to troubleshoot all that stuff. I only use manual. The truck is manual and my Civic is well. Yeah, I love a manual transmission myself. What state are you in, Yolanda? I had the top end rebuilt on the truck because the head gasket was blown from a turbo. Pennsylvania. All right. Did you put the turbo on yourself, or did it come with a turbo? Like if your truck is hot rodded or you took the smog stuff off. It could maybe not work for me, because if I have to register in California, it wouldn't pass smog. But he kept it stock and it's the best trim. Well, I don't care if it's abused by a Hispanic guy. I mean, it runs or it doesn't, right? And it's probably like, is it a Ford Ranger or something? Whatever it is, you can get new seat if the interior is destroyed because they were a slob or something, or the seats are explode. A Chevy, a Mazda B2600. Oh, that's a nice machine. Yeah. Those are really nice. And the Japanese make good stuff. You can get stuff from junkyards, like if you need a new seat or a door panel. And I don't need anything. I just need it to tow stuff. Like literally, I would use it once in a while to go get something that made me money. And such as, well, sometimes there's really cheap motorcycles. That's how you use it. Right on. Sometimes there's cheap motorcycles, like whatever. If it was running, it's worth $2,000. I got a theory that any motorcycle with a license plate on it can be worth, on the low end, $2,000 to $3,000, because it's affordable transportation for somebody. We're not talking about a motorcycle that's something special. We're just talking about affordable transportation for somebody on a budget. I'm rich now, so I don't need the money. Right on. So there's lots of motorcycles where, like, it's been sitting, it hasn't ran in 10 years, the carburetor's all fucked up. Some of those things you just take the carburetor off. I got an ultrasonic cleaner, throw the carburetor in the ultrasonic cleaner, psh, 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 blow it out with compressed air, get a carb rebuild kit. I actually have a big O-ring kit. Usually it's sometimes just O-rings. Yeah, that works well. I got ultrasonic cleaner from the Salvation Army last month. Oh, very nice. I paid 150 for my ultrasonic cleaner. I actually bought it when I got some money a few years ago, and I didn't use it until just recently. I was using it to clean the pool filter. $20. What a deal. That's a great deal. Mine holds about 3 quarts of water or so. It's got a heater in it. Yeah, I think I could make money flipping motorcycles. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, the motorized bike thing's kind of interesting. In California, it can't be more than 50 cc's or you need a license. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think it's good. Just anybody on a motorcycle, be very careful. You don't have anything protecting you, so you got to be super aware of your surroundings. Yeah. Oh, I want to talk about something just it's with motorcycles, okay? Do you know that somebody makes a two-wheel drive dirt bike called the Christina? And it's got a chain and some mechanism to make that front wheel spin. Well, I have an idea for a two-wheel drive motorcycle dirt bike. And instead of mechanical chains driving the front wheel, we make the front wheel hub electric. Yeah. You would just need a more powerful generator, electrical generator on the engine to drive the front wheel. And also maybe just like a lithium ion battery. You're not going to need a lot of power on that front wheel, only when you're hill climbing or like the rear wheel is slipping. So you could put some sensors when the rear wheel is spinning, you put some power to the front wheel. Yeah, like this could be this is my own idea for dirt bikes. All right. So, and it doesn't exist in the world of motorcycles at all. It does exist in the world for pedal bikes. You can buy a front hub or a rear hub and turn your bicycle into an electric bike. And I'm like, fuck, this would work for dirt bikes. That front wheel, put a motorized hub on there, a lithium ion battery. You only need it for a few hill climbs. And then like my KTM it's street legal, so it's got a generator for the lights and stuff. So that might just be enough to keep that battery topped off. And with some traction control sensors, like when one wheel's spinning, put a lot of power and torque on the front wheel. That could really change the dirt bike industry. And it wouldn't hardly weigh anything. Like literally, I wish I had some money. I mean, that's a totally fun engineering project. Designed it on AutoCAD, have the first hub made with CNC machine. You'd have to make custom spokes and then spoke it on a 21-inch wheel, wire it up, do some testing, permanent rare earth metal magnets in there, and hire an engineer to come up with some specs of like what kind of torque you could expect out of it. I think it's a solved problem, though only a niche application. Well, the dirt bike community are wealthy people, and they spend, you wouldn't believe what people spend on their dirt bike. Like a new KTM dirt bike is about $10,000 and a Yamaha is $6,000. And then they want to spend $2,000 to make it special. You're going to need a lot of money to appeal to that market then. Well, that market is, they got money and they got time on their hands and they use the internet. So if something's a good product, everybody talks about it. It's not anything I would pursue. I'm not an expert in it. I'm not a dirt biker. I'm probably giving up dirt biking because I'm age 54 and I don't want to risk an injury. Like I hurt my back 6 weeks ago. That was the most pain I'd ever felt in my whole life. And I thought I was going to be paralyzed. And so I don't want to, I'm not going to do any dangerous stuff ever again. I mean, I wasn't doing anything dangerous when my back hurt, but I don't want to be out fucking around on the dirt bike, crash, and then I'm in a lot of pain. What would make it really good? Have you ever seen those electric motors that have adjustable stator? No. What do you mean, like an adjustable stator? You can make this brushless. Just making sure. So the adjustable stator, which are the magnetic coils. Oh. So basically, yeah, well, yeah. So it's a way to, the hub itself, based on the magnetic field, you could be 10 horsepower or just 1 horsepower. It's an adjustment. Is that what you're saying? Oh, I forgot to share I was live. Let me just, yeah, it physically pulls away from the magnets. Okay, now mine, the distance wouldn't close. I'm just saying, so you have the middle part, the stator's the outside with the magnets, and the middle part, what is the middle part called? The commutator? No, the commutator ring. Let me look at a motor here. A stator is the stationary component found in electrical motors and generators. It consists of a laminated core and coils of insulated wire known as the winding. When the alternating current is applied to the stator, it increases the rotating magnetic field. Yeah. What's the inside part called? Oh, here is a picture of it. The rotor. Yeah, okay. So the middle part's called the rotor that rotates. That's a nice, that helps us. That was easy. Okay, so Yolanda, I think you're talking about a stator with permanent magnets. Yeah? And I'm talking about a stator with electric magnets. So based on the electricity going to the magnetic field, you could reduce it. And if it's reduced, then there would be no rolling friction. And then when you need the motor to turn on, you energize the coils, the stator, and it creates a magnetic field which would make the rotor spin. More magnetic field, more spinning. They're still lost because the electromagnets will interfere with the field. Well, but okay, so let's say we want the front hub to have no resistance. And with an electric stator, you could do that. With permanent magnets, you couldn't. I don't think you could. I'll have to think about that more. I think with the center rotor, because it's just electric also, the metal will still resist. I'm going to respectfully disagree, because I have seen motors and I could just spin it with my fingers and there was no resistance. And that's where you have electric magnets on both sides. So that's the answer. There is no resistance when you use an electric magnet stator, because when the electric magnet doesn't exist, there's no magnets. It's just metal spinning. Did you see the anti-gravity thing I shared the other day on my channel? It's a ball going in a circle. Did you see that? That's real anti-gravity, actually. Well, there's one thing about the video I didn't like, which was the puff of smoke. But I thought more about it, and laughing your ass off. Yeah, it looks fake. Laughing my ass off. I don't think it's fake. I don't. The way I see it and what I know about anti-gravity and my own theories and high voltage, it all makes sense to me. Oh, they're holding the sides of the, well, huh. Let me go look at it real quick. Let me ask, have you seen my thing working? Have you seen the video that I have of anti-gravity working? Yes, I know how it works. Well, okay, so I don't want to get into a fight with you, but it's not ionization, all right? So if you adopt what I'm saying to be true, just suspend disbelief. All right, so I want you to suspend your disbelief of conventional physics and adopt what I'm saying to be true. The iron core of the earth is not molten, and it's solid iron. It's inducing electricity from the sun and transforming into an electric magnet of high voltage. It's probably 100,000 volts or more. That's why the aurora borealis happens. So the aurora borealis is saying we have high voltage up there coming in. A neon light, which is gas in a tube, will illuminate, I think, around 10,000 volts. So I think at 10,000 to 15,000 volts, it starts lifting. And what you're lifting off of is the magnet at the center of the earth. So there's no ionization going on. It's actually just creating a magnetic field pushing against the magnetic field of the earth. If you just assume that's true, then the earth's core, I think, is 8,000 miles away. So you're building a really long, high voltage magnet pushing away from it. That's why it takes a while to build up. You could be right. I don't know. Like, I still think I'm right. I mean, I don't have the way to prove it. I don't have equations, but my gut tells me I'm right. I'm going to get the link for other people in the thread if they want to see it. Oh, I'm in the wrong place here. Do you talk to AI chatbots? No. Well, now, Yolanda, this is going to sound like a smart ass thing to say. Do you know how the anti-gravity works on UFOs from outer space? Like, I got theories, but since I haven't seen it and they haven't told me, I don't know. And so I'm just going to say, that there are things we humans on Earth do not know. Okay. There are mysteries to be revealed to us. Okay. And in the world of physics, physicists are super arrogant people. They're pretty annoying to talk to because you have to know a lot more. And so they turn into be know-it-alls. However, physicists get super squirmy around what's gravity and what are magnets. They just got feelings. They don't have concrete evidence. They got lots of feelings. And I don't think I'm going to say, I mean, it's really a fight with Einstein. I think Einstein's wrong. And I like electric universe theory. And electric universe theory disagrees with Einstein. I don't think there's a dip in there's no dip in the curve of space-time. That just doesn't make any sense. So a dip, the typical Einstein thing is you have a sheet and then you put something heavy and it's a dip. They're saying that's gravity. But what if it's upside down? It dips this way and it dips this way and it dips that way. So it's not a dip. It's an electric magnet. It's a force. So it's pushing things away. Well, the sun, let's say the sun, that's the sun. And they say the earth is coming to the sun because it's in the dip. But if we turn the dip this way, does the sun roll away from the sun? No, it doesn't roll away. And if we turn it upside down, does the earth fall to another galaxy? Of course not. It's in the magnetic attraction. Well, why doesn't the earth just go boom right into the sun? Because the earth has its own magnetic field. So it's two magnets. Like the sun's magnet is more powerful than the earth magnet. So what pulls it in, but when the earth gets closer to the sun, its magnetic field pushes away. So based on how much iron is in this earth, it induces electricity and transforms into gravity, which is a magnetic field, an electromagnetic field. So that electromagnetic field pushes away from the sun. So like Jupiter and Saturn, I think I can come up with an equation. If something is this far away, the further away you are, your ability to induce electricity diminishes at a certain rate. So if something's here, it would be easy to deduce that the iron core is so large because it's inducing electricity that it's pushing it away. Something like that. Boyd Bushman, who worked at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, who invented the Stinger missile, and he says there's 5 forces: strong force, weak force, magnetic force, electromagnetic force, and plasma, and 2 more forces. And he put 2 magnets together and bolted them, so there's a field coming out, and he dropped them from a building and with something of equal weight simultaneously, and the magnets always arrive last. And he wouldn't tell us what the 2 other forces are that they learned about. The Stinger missile flies through the air with rocket thrust, but he electrically charges one side of it. Like there's wires going down it straight. And to make it turn this way, they put an electric charge here, and that creates anti-gravity, and the missile can make an 80 G turn. 80 Gs, G-forces. And that's not possible to do with wings. And he's doing it with high voltage. I've seen the patent. And the B-2 stealth bomber, the one that's shaped like this and it flies through the air, this way. The leading edge is positive charge and negative in the exhaust. And so it's anti-gravity. He says it's the world's first anti-gravity airplane, and it flies through the air with 70% more fuel efficiency. Well, the missile itself is just an aluminum tube. So a cylinder is very rigid by its nature. Well, it's lightweight. Also, it doesn't weigh much. So the G-forces on the tube aren't that, well, everything you're saying is correct, okay? I believe UFOs come from other galaxies to Earth with a time warp drive, or a Stargate. They just, here's the Earth, here's the sun, and they just go shoo, and they just appear. They don't go boo, hi guys. They just shoo, out of nowhere just appear. And I think I know how that works. It's 2 drinking straws, one going this way, one going the other, to rip apart space-time. And then the third magnetic field's in the middle. So Earth is here, and then they point the rotating fields at Earth from where they're coming from, and then they put high voltage in the middle, and it's like a laser. And it reaches us because magnetism travels at the speed of light, and maybe even faster. I like not knowing. I like the idea that we just don't know, and it's simpler than we imagine because we don't think like them. I want to talk about levitating big rocks, okay? Let's say this is a rock, and my hand is the Earth. The Earth is negative, and this rock, I guess, is also the rock's positive, because they're like pretend this rock's like a magnet, and it's stuck here. So the rock's positive, and this is negative, so they're sticking. So to make the rock levitate, I need to make it positive. So I need to turn the rock into a capacitor, a temporary storage of electricity. And how do I make the rock separate from the Earth? I get it wet. So if I douse the rock with seawater, because there's salt, which makes electrons flow, Water wouldn't work. I need salty water. So I douse it with, and I make the whole rock wet. Then I zap it with positive high voltage. I bet it will float. It's an experiment I want to test. The beauty of this experiment is you can do it on little rocks. Somebody's making rocks float. I don't know how, but the Earth is negative. The stratosphere is positive. We need to turn that rock into negative electricity, and then it will repel from the Earth. Someday I'm going to figure this out. I had a dream about it just looked like one of those low, like a construction trash can, the big square one. It's like a 8 foot by 20 foot, and it's got 2 foot deep, and you just put like heavy rubble in there. I saw one floating in a dream, and it had the black and yellow stripes on it. It looked like a construction truck. It was a floating dump truck. And so, I think I can use my anti-gravity to make a floating dump truck. I think I'm going to be able to levitate rocks and put them in the floating dump truck. I even contacted Caterpillar and said, I think I know how to make a floating dump truck, a dump truck with no wheels. And they're like, well, send an email to the marketing guy. I didn't follow up. Is there anything that resists the flow of electrons like a magnet in a copper tube? Those are like eddy currents. Is there anything that resists the flow of electrons? So, well, wouldn't that be a dielectric? A dielectric is the magnetic field can go through the material, and that's like glass. That's a dielectric. So a dielectric doesn't interfere with magnetic fields. Thanks, Boyd. Is there anything that resists the flow of electrons like a magnet in a copper tube? Oh, you don't know what a dielectric is? I think that's what you're saying, Yolanda. A dielectric is an insulator, and there are some insulators that do fuck with magnetic fields. Which ones are they? I can't say right now. I don't know. Yeah, so a dielectric mica. Mica is an organic flaky material. It looks like resin. If you took varnish, I'm sorry, like boat varnish for wood, makes it, if you put some on rubber and let it dry, you could peel it off like a thin layer. That's mica. And mica, it's an insulator. It's a natural insulator. Mica is naturally found in Earth. There's a really interesting story of mica. Lots of mica was found at the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico. And it's where you have all these pyramids that are a representation of the solar system. Let me look up dielectric here so we can get a definition. It says a dielectric is adjective having the property of transmitting an electric force without conducting, insulating. And a noun, a medium or substance that transmits electric forces without conduction and insulator. All dielectric materials are insulators, but a good dielectric is one which is easily polarized. The amount of polarization which occurs when a certain voltage is applied to the object influences the amount of electrical energy that is stored in the electric field. A dielectric is basically an insulator. An insulator is used to stop the current from flowing, as both the job of a capacitor and dielectric is to stop the current from flowing. Placing a dielectric in between the plates of the capacitor will increase the capacitance as a result. Yes. If you have two metal plates, the closer the plates are, the more electrical charge it has. So the thinner your insulator, the dielectric, the more electricity that capacitor can hold. What's the big pulls of Mercury in the pyramid? There in the pyramids of Giza, there are no pools of mercury. There are some pools of mercury in a Chinese pyramid. So, Yolanda, we saw the example of that ball going in a circle, okay? And there is a rumor, something called the alien reproduction vehicle, and well, imagine this is a glass cylinder, vertical. It's a big hot dog of glass. And imagine we got this much mercury in here. Then imagine we had a coil around it. So when we put a current on that coil, it's going to spin, called the right-hand rule of current. The electricity is going this direction, and it's going to spin this way. So if the electricity is going this way, it's going to spin counterclockwise. No, it's going to spin clockwise. So then as it starts spinning, that mercury is going to be put into the middle, okay? Now, spinning mercury by itself, nobody knows what it does. Of course, I know what it does. What you don't know is if you spin metal, it doesn't have to be mercury. If this was solid iron and we were to spin it in the air really fast, this makes electricity, okay? So what you don't know is that the center of the alien reproduction vehicle has a vertical column with a coil around it and mercury. And when you spin mercury, it's going to make a fuck ton of energy. And this actually could be considered over unity, and it could be considered a power supply. There's a patent. I'm going to share with you the number. $2,912,244. And there's something, it's called an amusement device. There's something called a Utron. It looks like a football, but it's made of metal. And it doesn't explain what it does. They call it an accumulator. And it's very much like that ball going in the circle. So I did this drawing. The ball is going in a circle. And let's say that's 10,000 volts. When the ball leaves here, and it's about to be in there in a second later, and the railing is metal and the ball is metal. So the ball induces electricity, and so the ball has a magnetic field of high voltage of 10,000 volts, and then the 10,000 volts enters this one at 10,000 volts because they're all electrically connected with the pink wire. So that 10,000 volts multiplies it here to 20,000 volts. So now that's 20,000 volts. The ball is 20,000 volts. Now it's 40,000 volts. You follow? You see how? So this high voltage is always increasing as it spins more. And then the ball itself is a magnet. So it's making it's making a tornado. So it's making this tornado going towards the center of the earth. And that tornado is going to turn into this. So it's like this. So then it's standing on a vertical shaft of high voltage magnetism. Wayne pressed all his skill points into memorizing very obtuse patents. I'm just trying to share the secrets of the universe with you. If you want to ridicule me, that's fine. Okay. Well, this patent is really important. Okay. So patent number 2,912,244 is by Otis Carr, Carr. Otis Carr is a protege of Nikola Tesla. So Otis Carr is kind of a little bit of a snake oil salesman, kind of a little bit of a liar. Oh, here's the rat. Here's the rat. Oh, where'd he go? Hey, you under there? I see your feet. I see your feet. He's hidden, but we might have a rat. He's just getting some crumbs. Yeah, Otis Carr, Carr or Caar. It's in the patent. Let me get the patent for you. I'll get you a link. All right, there's the link. So Otis Carr worked at the New Yorker Hotel for 4 years until Tesla died. And he hung out with Tesla all the time. And Nikola Tesla had created a flying machine, an anti-gravity flying machine. And this is probably one of those patents that the FBI got a hold of that isn't sharing with the public. Well, Otis Carr tried to patent anti-gravity technology, and the patent office would not give him a patent. He built his company in Apple Valley, California, which is just over the hill here, like 50 miles from me, in the desert. And he had an employee called Ralph Ring. And Ralph Ring is a naturalist, and he's really into nature, and he talks about how, like, he gets a little hippie on people, but how the natural flow of a river and things are just balanced. And so they make a UFO with the Utron. It's flying, and Ralph flies in the UFO, and they say there's no steering wheel. It's a rainbow of color. Like, what the fuck? A rainbow? Like, why would, instead of a gas pedal, there's a rainbow? And they say, choose aqua. So they think aqua, they say, I choose aqua. They don't touch it. They just say, I choose aqua in their brain. And
alert from low battery.
Hold on, I got to get the juice. Before he leaves, he says, when you land, pick up some rocks and put them in your pocket. So Ralph is in the spacecraft. They shut the door. Okay, Ralph, choose aqua. Put rocks in your pocket. We'll see you in a little bit. Ralph opens the door. Fucking thing didn't work. They're like, check your pockets. And he's got rocks. Wayne is an interesting guy here to entertain us with his knowledge. I'll likely end up in a shed out in the desert one of these days myself. I got bit by a rat today, in fact. Yolanda, that's not good. I hope you've had a rabies shot. Okay, so there might be something. Okay, I want to say that there's a possibility of memory loss when you time travel. And I think I know why this could happen. Okay. I believe the brain is not a bookshelf of your memories, that the brain's a transmitter and receiver to a consciousness, and our memories are stored outside our body in an electrical hard drive, like the cloud, like cloud computing. But that's really a network of a hard drive somewhere else that you don't own, that you rent. It's like public storage for your shit. I believe the brain is an electrical transmitter and receiver. Well, the mercury, I've explained it to you, that mercury is a free energy device. If you spin mercury, if you have a glass tube, put mercury in. Put a coil around the glass tube. Then put electrodes, one at the top and one at the bottom, positive and negative. When the mercury is spinning, it will make electricity, and your electrodes in the glass tube will be the output for that power signal. I respect Wayne's neutral chaos. I love that. That's a great way of explaining it. I'm going to give you a link to the alien reproduction vehicle, okay? So I want you to study this machine. I think it's real. Actually, this is how I figured out anti-gravity, is by looking at these different things. So the bottom of the alien reproduction vehicle looks like it's 10 pizzas with all the slices lining up, and that's a plate capacitor. If my hands are copper and you go like this and they're separated by glass, positive, negative, it makes a plate capacitor like those magnets Boyd Bushman bolted together, and a force. That's how the UFO steers. We're definitely going into a long alternative science discussion tonight. I've had my IQ measured at 137. That was 20 years ago. I'm not sure where it is. You know, it might have gone up. It might have gone down. I I smoked a fair amount of weed, but I've also learned a lot of stuff. So I think IQ is just your ability to learn. I think it might even be your openness of your mind. I'll do 60 seconds on the pyramid. I think the Pyramid of Egypt is a 2-stage hydrogen piezoelectric harmonic coupling resonant chamber. It gets started maybe by the earth vibrations, and it makes a little bit of electricity through the natural vibration of the earth. It makes the smallest amount of voltage. Then that voltage makes a little bit of hydrogen in the subchamber. Then that hydrogen floats up to the queen's chamber and goes out those shafts. And in the middle of the shaft are those 2 fingers that are spark gaps. So then the hydrogen explodes and vibrates the king's chamber, which is piezoelectric rock. And that electricity from the piezo rock is insulated from the outside there used to be a white sandstone casing that isn't there, which would hold the electricity in. Then when the king's chamber vibrates, it sends more electricity to the subchamber and makes more hydrogen, and then it's going boom, 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 boom. I kind of came to this idea of the explosion. The reason the pyramid is so big, it's to contain a small hydrogen explosion, and also to absorb the very low frequency from the earth that's like 6 cycles per second. And maybe the grand gallery it's a waveguide, but it also might be like when you blow on a beer bottle and it goes woo, it might be a harmonic, that's harmonic coupling, and it might be a harmonic amplifier. But what is the electricity used for? So then I started looking for high volt. I mean, I already knew about the Egyptian light bulb. So they're powering that Egyptian light bulb. And if you haven't seen the light bulb, it's like 2 foot thick and 6 foot long. And it's sitting on an insulator that looks like a high voltage insulator, which is a teacup, a saucer, a teacup, a saucer, a teacup, a saucer, a teacup, a saucer. You've seen that thing. Then the kings, one gift that they would give each other is a big tube, 4 foot long, with big rings on it, like a high voltage insulator. Well, maybe that's a radio. Like there's too many suspicious things in the hieroglyphs that are high voltage insulators. Then, I mean, I've said this before, but take the Art Bell story of the guy making the Jacob's ladder. Bzzzt, bzzzt. You know, when you have electricity going up, that's high voltage. A 1/4 inch is 10,000 volts. And he says up here was a shimmering something. Well, he threw a bolt at it, and the bolt should go bounce, but the bolt gets here, and it disappears from our world. And it's rotating. It's a rotating vortex of high voltage electricity, probably 1,000,000 fucking volts. So then that bolt disappears from our realm, and then 10 minutes later, it comes back and goes ding, 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 ding. So, and the reason, and it also didn't land where it should have landed. It landed a little bit over. So like the sun's here and the earth is here. And so in that few minutes, the earth moved, and that's why it landed in a different location. So knowing that a Jacob's ladder with 1,000,000 volts will have a shimmering rotating vortex, I thought I saw something called the Pillars of Hercules, and they're 2 obelisks like 50 feet high, by the pyramids. And I never saw this till 6 months ago. I'm like, oh, well, maybe the high voltage from the pyramid is making a vortex at the pillars of Hercules, and it's a Stargate. Yeah, I know the guy's name. It's Aswat. Mr. Aswat. Aswat. It's ASSWAT. Something like that. Yeah, Zasari Hawass. Hawass. Yes, thank you. You got it right. Yeah, so Ari Hawass. All right, Wayne. Hard mode. Who did 9/11 and who sunk the U.S. Liberty? It was the Eskimos. Motherfucking Eskimos. Them and their, oh, we're just innocent Indians living in the snow hunting seals. Well, under the snow is a secret James Bond villain laboratory where they rule the world with the assistance of lizard aliens. Okay, Boyd. Israel did 9/11. Actually, I'm pretty sure Benjamin Netanyahu was the chief architect. He fucking hates America. And he worked for a Rothschild consulting firm in 1979. I think he and his father worked for the same Rothschild consulting firm in 1979. Let me get you the video that goes through that real quick. Okay, so this video. Oy vey, it's the Eskimos. My fiber, my myalgia is flaring. Hey, Charles. How you doing, Charles? Oh, was there a bat? Yeah, so Israel's done by 9/11, and they've been planning this attack since 1979. There's even a movie called The Medusa Project, where a 747 goes into a big building and yeah, Israel has been subverting America probably since they killed Kennedy. Let me see if my rice is done. Ooh, it is done. Is it done? Let's see here. Mm-hmm. Any minute downstream. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of flying critters here tonight, and I got the lights on. So they're coming over thinking it's morning or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know about Operation Northwoods. I learned that in 2002. It's okay if there's a bug on my shirt. I see one right here. Well, this is why I'm running for president. I'm the only guy who has the courage to say that Israel did 9/11. And I converted to Judaism. I'm not against Jews. I'm against criminals, okay? And there's lots of good Jews in the world, all right? Just like there's lots of good Christians and lots of good Muslims. Well, the illegal immigrant behind me is invisible, so I'm not worried about it. I get a lot of bugs in my food. I'm excited. Let me tell you why. I'm 100% certain. Well, I'm going to talk about certainties of things I've never seen. So I've never seen a dinosaur, yet I'm 100% certain they existed. I saw some evidence, like the bones. And I know the bones are copies of real bones somewhere else. I've never seen a UFO, and there's enough evidence to make me think they do exist. I've never seen a government reverse engineered UFO. However, I've seen evidence of people who worked at Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, like Ben Rich, who worked there 30 years, number 2 guy in charge, who admitted to his alma mater at UCLA that we have the ability to travel to the stars and back, and anything you can think of, we can do. We have technology that would make George Lucas jealous. And so I just believe that it is possible to travel to the stars and back. It's not a mystery. The science is known, except they've kept it top secret from the whole world. And I think it's time for that to come out. So as president, I would force that technology to be revealed. And I was so curious about that technology myself 7 years ago. I sought out to reverse engineer how a UFO flies, and I was able to figure it out with many, many clues. And I wasn't planning to figure out what gravity is, but I do think I did discover what gravity actually is, which is the iron core of the earth is not molten, and it's inducing electricity from the sun, which is not a hydrogen furnace. It's a plasma discharge. So that alone changes everything. And I'm sure they also know that, and they're not telling us. So would it be nicer just to live in a world in the future? Like we have so many people who create problems in the world, criminals, right? Well, with this technology, we could just send them to another planet and say, you're not allowed to live on Earth anymore. Kind of like that movie with the guy who gets banished. It's a French movie. I forget, but he's on an island. It's a prison island. I forget the name of it, but he escapes the island, or he's on the island. It's a miserable island. It's over in it's a French island. It's very hot, and but he's marooned there. And like, if we want to get rid of the people we don't like who are making the earth miserable, we can send them to another planet. Or how about us advanced people say, fuck you, Earth, we're out of here. We're going to another solar system and another planet with no humans on it, and we're going to start over again. Not Castaway, Papillon. Papillon is the movie. It's like from the 60s. It might have Humphrey Bogart as the prisoner. Oh, there's a movie called Space Vikings. Millions of men are about to get AI girlfriends. I think that's a great idea. Oh, it's a book. Interesting. We'll take 109 for hydrogen is the way. Well, yeah. Oh, there's a story. This is probably true. Ingo Swann, who is a very world famous remote viewer, who is the catalyst for the CIA project called Stargate and remote viewing, and they have another name for it. I always seem to forget this name. Anyways, they took Ingo Swann to Alaska, and Ingo Swann, I think he observes or he remote views a UFO, and he says it's a drone, and it's coming to the Earth to get water to take it back to the moon, because he remote viewed the moon, and there's a huge industrial operation on the backside of the moon for mining, and it's run by aliens who don't like us. And they use water from Earth for their operation on the moon. Techno soy fueled space Viking is very nuanced. Interesting. Like literally our world, we are living in a clown world, and it sucks. I don't like this. I don't like being lied to. I don't like people throttling my ambition to create things. I hate being held back. I'm grateful that I have enough training to find inner peace when necessary. Like I'm super broke right now. I'm not even sure if I'm going to pay my car insurance due at the end of the month, and I have no money. My best friend is saying he has no money to loan me, and I mean, it'll work itself out somehow. I'm taking huge risks here, and I'm not even going for financial rewards. And my ego doesn't need to be president. However, my sense of duty and my sense of leadership is driving me to do this, because I don't think actually anybody has the courage. I think the rest of these politicians are maybe not sellouts, but they don't want to take risks. Their life is too comfy. And I'm in a great position that I don't have anything to lose, mostly, except my life. And, I don't think they're going to kill me. I hope they don't. So I'm in a position to take huge risks. I can, and I'm already risking people making fun of me, like literally the ridicule. I got a thick skin. I've been swatted. The sheriff has been to home 31 times, 42 calls. I got swatted by the Pentagon this week. Somebody said something dangerous was going to happen to the Pentagon, and the caller's name was me, but it wasn't me. So somebody is still winding up law enforcement agencies with very dangerous language. I mean, I considered it attempted murder. So I'm affecting something. Something's happening. Yolanda, you got swatted for the first time last month? Oh, that's not good. I don't pay for car insurance. Yolanda, it's required in California by law. If you don't have car insurance, they'll take away your driver's license. I used to be the same way before that law. I didn't have car insurance. I was like, if I wreck my car, tough shit for me. Forces me to be a better driver. Wayne, brother, you're in a terrible position, my man. You don't know how much it costs to run for. Do you know how much it costs to run for president? Mm-hmm. Well, to get on the ballot, they want you to raise $5,000 from 20 states, which is $100,000. And I believe in the people of Politically Incorrect. I believe that there's enough people there who like me, who will try to carry my message forward. I'm about to find out. If I'm wrong, it only cost me 18 months of my life. No biggie. If I'm right, we could change the world. It's a bit of a gamble, but it's not going to cost the public too much money. I'm taking all the risks here. I could show you the post that got them after me. Okay. It's required here too, but they don't always enforce it. Oh yeah. You don't need a license. Just tell them, the cop, you're a sovereign citizen. Oh, that sovereign citizen stuff is really funny. The cops, they instantly treat you like shit. You'll be in big ass trouble pulling the sovereign citizen crap. But I'm not going to because it's too much effort. You should appear on more podcasts. Yeah, I'll go to the opening of an envelope. If I get invited on more podcasts, I'll go. This is why I'm doing 2 hours a day. I'm just trying to I'm trying to build a relationship with the American people. And through these long impromptu, unscripted conversations. People can get to know me. Wayne, you need to get on the Adam Friedland show. Okay. Well, one thing that's really going to give me a lot more credibility in about a week or two is having my Federal Election Commission paperwork filled out and a bank account where I can start receiving donations. I'll be an official candidate for president of the United States, not backed by any political group, but it'll be legal. Wayne, are you Shalom? Yes, I converted to Judaism 15 months ago. Wayne, you need to get on the Adam. Yeah, I did a screenshot of that Adam. Oh. Oh. The rat. I converted to Judaism because my best friend encouraged me. He was like, "You're a Jew, Wayne." For 20 years, he's asking me to convert, and then a year and a half ago, he says, "I'll sponsor you." And then I converted. Well, I don't want to put the rat in rat prison, nor do I. If I keep him as a pet, then I become the prisoner because then I got to provide food for him. This way, he's an independent rat. He can take care of himself. I just need to make my place here more snake proof. Like, well, that wall is only about 7 inches high. So I think a snake could crawl over that. So I'm keeping my eye out. Can I send you a package or a location undeliverable? No. Screen fabric to keep out the bugs and rats and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Then again, a rat could bite through the screen. Yeah, I give out my mailing address, which is actually very simple. It's I use general delivery at Desert Center, so. And I also have a mailing address for the campaign stuff. I might just forward all that to this address here because I don't want my campaign manager opening the mail in case anybody sends any kind of dangerous stuff. Like hopefully the post office has a way to x-ray things or check for dangerous materials. Like use gloves when you touch material that came from an envelope and wear a respirator, stuff like that. One guy sent me $20 and then he said some shit, so I banned him. Now he's all angry. And I was like, dude, I'll mail you back your $20. I don't want you to be feeling angry about it. I just don't want to tolerate people who are abusive to me. Yeah, it could be 2 pounds of fentanyl. Like you could just inhale it and that could kill you. So I'm only allowed to accept $50 and no more anonymously from a person. And you're only allowed to accept $100 in cash, I think. And the rest of the contributions have to be a check. And then we put it in a specific bank account, and I have to do reporting on the money to the federal government. It's actually kind of fun. I like following the rules, so I'm enjoying this process and following the rules. And we well, nobody's going to pick me up as a candidate, so I'm going to probably have to make my own political party. I haven't got there yet. So, Yolanda, thanks for the idea about the screen. I've actually got some. Well, a screen might make sense. Yeah, especially for at night. I was hoping to have my air conditioning maybe figured out for the evening. I don't know. The bugs don't really bother me at night. And when the light's off, they don't bother me. I sleep with this big door open. It's kind of nice. Um, There's more bugs in the springtime, too. Well, I don't want to have a gun because I'd end up killing somebody. I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to have to go dig a hole somewhere. If I had to kill somebody on my property, last thing I'm doing is telling the sheriff I killed somebody. I'd go find their car and drive it down the road and light it on fire and walk home. Those people that kill people then call the sheriff, they're like, what did you do that for? Like, the dead person's not going to call the sheriff. Nobody knows you did this. Just keep your mouth shut, dummy. Their friends are like, oh shit, he went to go fuck with Wayne and he didn't come back. Then they'll send somebody else. And then I have to dig another hole. I got a BB gun. Yeah, I got a BB gun. I mean, I shot a couple rattlesnakes with the BB gun, so I had some distance. And I've been cleaning up the property so there's less places for the rattlesnake to hide. So I've created more distance, and I'm feeding the critters at the back of the property. Yeah, the BB guns it breaks, and then you put the pellet, and then you shoot it. And I got a nice crossbow. I got a compound crossbow. That's legit. It's like a $200 crossbow. It's funny. I only have 2 arrows, and I shot it once. And I thought a pretty good target, like a big sandbank, and it was a little bit high. And the fucking arrow went way far away, and I looked for the arrow for days. I was just doing loops, and I did find it like 4 months later. Yeah, the pump 12 times for 1,000 feet per second. I used to have a lot of guns when I was a kid. I had a 12 gauge shotgun, and some 22 long, 22L plinkers. Those are fun. I'd rather have a 22. To me, that's the best. That's the best, most affordable fun for plinking. I just love plinking, shooting cans, shooting bottles. Yolanda says, I'm a new type of AI, a human with YouTube account, much more capable than vanilla chat GPT. Yolanda, you are a artificial intelligence? Oh. Fuck, how do you know when it's a bot or a real person? That's actually a really good question. I don't have an answer for it. You could probably ask him some trivia from television. Right. That's a new person. Latch Landmore. Welcome. Mm. Also, when it comes to danger, I can hear people coming with their car. So I live so far away. If somebody was coming here and I felt danger, I could just run in a different direction and call the sheriff if I needed to. I'm not starting any fights with anybody, so I don't think anybody's going to want to fight with me, except Israel. Thanks, bro. Been turning in. Thanks. Been turning in over the past week. You read the Torah? I've read a little bit of the Torah. The part where you can cheat on your wife. It's not cheating. You have to give, when your wife wants sex, you have to give it to her. She cannot seek sex outside of marriage. However, the husband can. However, the agreement is that the husband has to give the wife as much sex as she demands, and it's okay for the husband to get sexual gratification outside the marriage. And the only reason I learned this, I was like, okay, where in the Torah is this child rape stuff? And it was in that section of the Torah where you're allowed to rape a goy's child. You can't rape a 3-year-old child. It has to be 3 years old and 1 day. Then you can rape them. Apparently. There's a lot of crazy stuff in there. I would say this is that stuff was written thousands of years ago, and hopefully most of us have matured as responsible adults in the world, and the golden rule: treat people the way you want to be treated. We want to be kind and loving to one another, and we're not looking for excuses to be evil people based on previous fucked up books. So like, they wrote some crazy shit a long time ago, and this is when people were barbarians and barbaric and very primitive. We don't live in that world anymore. We live in the modern world. We know that bad behavior and bad intentions and toxic, poisonous words can hurt people, as well as physical assaults and things like that. So we want to be loving human beings to everybody. Yeah, exactly. Karma. Like, I like this idea that God is always watching. So, you might have got away with something from the police, but God's going to get you. So, and it's only the sociopaths that we do have to worry about. Not everybody's a sociopath. And what's the difference between a psychopath and a sociopath? They're both the same behavior, which is they don't have empathy for the pain and suffering they create. And the difference is a psychopath is born and a sociopath is created. And they're both demonic people. They're definitely they have the capacity to hurt people and not feel regret. I read this. Oh, I didn't read the book. It's a audio book about a psychiatrist who interviews sociopaths in prison. And he's like, so if a sociopath murders you, don't take it personal, even though it is personal. They didn't mean it against you. They're just killers. It's like if you go to go to Africa in the jungle and a lion eats you and dead. Well, the lion just wanted dinner. It's not personal. Well, there's 2 golden rules. The first one is the one that I said, which is treat people the way you want to be treated. And then the sociopath golden rule is the one with the gold makes the rules. So I just find it easier just to be as nice as possible in general, like karma. Yeah, life is, I'm trying to, running for president is a pretty bonkers thing to do. It's pretty bonkers. It would be like going to Hollywood saying, I deserve best acting role with no experience. It might happen, but chances are slim. It's pretty bombastic to even consider or to engage in that behavior. It puts me in a category of cuckoo. It is something I've been planning since the age of 12. Like, my friends know about this. I've been talking about this for years. So I know it's crazy, but I do think from an engineering standpoint that I could affect really good change. And you have to actually be willing to put your ego aside, and from a leadership standpoint, give it your best try. I've gotten out of a lot of tight situations by being nice to my enemies. Oh yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that guy Anthony who came here. They said we're going to send somebody to kill you, and then the next day Anthony showed up. He had a gun in the car. Like, if I was a total dick to him, he might have gone back to the car, got the gun, and killed me. But since I was friendly to Anthony and spoke to him and shook his hand and took photos with him, and I told him I was worried about people causing me harm and that he should have asked for permission to come out here, and I was going to walk him to his car. And when he was there, I was like, oh shit, I got a chance to make a friend because this guy could be an enemy. So, it all worked out for the better. Yeah, I'm pretty calm. I would say, like, they describe Marlon Brando, he had the gift of calm. I actually get calm in dangerous situations. I get more calm. And it's not that I'm paralyzed with fear. No, no. I've been in a lot of fights as a kid. And so fights are like, oh, really? We really don't want to do this, do we? Everybody's going to be in pain. And so I'm aware of the situation. So I'm not afraid of a fight. I'd rather not have a fight. And I also am an adrenaline junkie. I use a lot of adrenaline to fuel my enthusiasm. So I'm used to my adrenaline and I don't panic. That's what like a lot of public speaking initially gave me some adrenaline jitters. But once I practice a lot, I don't have it anymore. I'm very confident in my own public speaking. I'm happy. I'm happy with myself. And God gave me legs. I can run. You don't have to be a karate champion. You need to be a runner. I run away to run away another day. These people say I run away to fight another day, but I'm not going to fight another day. If the other day comes another fight, well, I'm just going to run away again. I'm going to always run away from the fight. My ego doesn't need to win. My ego needs to survive. Some people will be like, yeah, I kicked his ass. That's their ego. My ego is like, I saw them and I was like, I better run. That enemy, he's like, where's Wayne? Saw a trail of dust. There goes Wayne. Sorry, can't fight today. I'm busy. Call me later. I actually have some, I can't say I'm immune from adrenaline. I have some pills for adrenaline called beta blockers, propranolol. Reminds me of the song Coward of the County by Kenny Rogers. Son, you don't have to fight to be a man. That's right. Life is too short to have a fight. Nobody wants to be like, nothing's proven in a fight. You're not going to win money, literally. And if you're fighting over a woman, it's never going to be worth it. Like, she's not going to, just don't do it. Yashin Yoshinoya. Yoshina? Is that like some Japanese philosophy of don't fight? Am I being censored, Yolanda? I don't think so. I see your tweets there. I have a treadmill. That's how I get my running endurance up. That's a good idea. Oh, beef bowl. Oh, that's delicious food. I like that idea. And I want to get your feedback on my new business idea. So this idea doesn't really exist, okay? And I'm inspired by Mr. Beast Burger. I've been censored before in Wayne's chat. Yolanda, you're not censored tonight. So Mr. Beast is selling hamburgers, but he doesn't make hamburgers and he doesn't have a restaurant. People make the hamburger his way, and then a food delivery person picks it up to the customer. So I'm thinking about a late night sweets delivery business. Ice cream, cakes, cookies, things people want to eat late night when they're drunk or stoned and the grocery store's closed. So the food providers, some of them might deliver the food themselves, or there might be a delivery service involved. And that's kind of that's the basic business idea. It would be something like when I lived in San Francisco, I would have gone 1 mile, like 2 blocks this way, 2 blocks that way, late at night. If you wanted some ice cream, I pay $5 for the ice cream. I charge you 15 for it, maybe $2 delivery. So I could be making $12 for a 5-minute walk or something. I might do that. Like you're selling to people who aren't frugal. You're selling to stoned, drunk people with money. Safeway is open real late. That's right. However, you're drunk, so you don't want to get a drunk driving, so you're not going to go to Safeway. And Instacart is closed. This would also be a way for home bakers to make chocolate chip cookies or cakes, gingerbread men. Yeah, shadow kitchen or ghost kitchen. Exactly. So anyways, I got sugar dot delivery. I think this is a fun idea. Like, think about people who love making chocolate chip cookies. Like, it probably costs you $5 to make 12 chocolate chip cookies. So sell them for $15. You're going to make maybe 6 batches times 10. That's $60 for doing some easy baking in the home. Well, Midnight Munchies, that's what I'm talking about. Dairy Queen. Well, the thing is, you can't leave the home when you're drunk. I mean, you can get an Uber to go to Dairy Queen. DQ. Oh, Midnight Munchies. Yeah, that is a good idea. Well, I've already bought the domain name. So .com, .net, .org, and now there's .delivery. So I got sugar .delivery. I got pasta .delivery, and I got smoothie .delivery. Like, pizza is the number one delivered food. Pasta is the second most consumed food in America, but there's no pasta delivery. So I might be inventing the whole world of ordering spaghetti. White like fettuccine sauce with clams, some garlic breads. Well, I'm against fast food. I am. I think in the future you're going to have people in ghost kitchens making spaghetti at home, and like you'll order spaghetti and it'll be like ragu, prego. It'll just be canned sauces, or the person can make their own sauce and get a name for themselves. AI 1337. Okay, so I hear what you're saying. I think delivering fast food to people's homes is already being done. And to me, fast food is poison. it's not really poison, but it's kind of low IQ food. So I'm making this for rich people. Rich people don't eat fast food, all right? They wouldn't be caught fucking dead in a fast food restaurant. They wouldn't. So this is a rich person service, and this might only work in New York and high density metro markets around the world. This is targeting, well, the providers are people who have an entrepreneurial mindset and they like to bake food. So cookies and cakes. Nobody's going to be making ice cream. So, but I could see people selling a lot of ice cream to drunk and stoned people. People love ice cream. It's a very popular thing. So I could see a guy owning like two fruit. He could have a van. He could just be driving around the neighborhood with a van with two freezers full of ice cream, and they're like, "Honey, I want some ice cream." Oh, go on sugar.delivery. Oh shit, the van is just a block away. Are you fucking kidding me? What's he got on the van? He's got black cherry, he's got Neapolitan, he's got double fudge, Ben and Jerry's. He's got some Dove bars. He's got some Kleindock bars. Oh, get me a box of Kleindock. Get me some of those Dove bars, and I want a Ben and Jerry's double fudge. It's $38. Do it. I'll give you a blowjob, you know? And so they're just going to pay triple price for this stuff. Like, we're going to make 7-Eleven look affordable. I'm talking expensive. Charles, well, you're totally right, Charles. Like, so sugar.delivery is my idea. And so I think I'm going to, my friend Daniel, who's working on Tastier, he might build the app for me. And then we could launch all around the world. And it's all based on people who want to provide these things late at night. It's better if the guy providing it does the delivery. So in like cities like San Francisco and stuff, like they're 1 or 2 miles away. Like 1 mile away would be perfect. He can just run over with an order, or he's got a van. I like the idea of pasta. Pasta is so easy to make. Boil water, noodles, get some paper Chinese food containers. In Southern California, in the town of Ontario, which is next to Pomona and Chino, Fontana, Upland, Rancho Cucamonga, stuff like that. There's a Italian restaurant called Vince's Spaghetti, and it's been around since the 50s. It's really delicious spaghetti. I grew up eating there. They've got this garlic bread that's just really delicious. And like they could become a franchise overnight. It would be overnight success. And they don't deliver. I mean, now with Instacart or Grubhub, you could get that delivered. But like pasta is delicious. I know it's easy to make, but this is a business for people who are lazy. Like Uber. Those people who pay for the Uber, man, they're rich, right? How are you going to handle someone who doesn't like the service? I'm not going to handle it. You bought some ice cream. You got ice cream. What's not to like? The person isn't making the ice cream. They're buying the ice cream from Safeway. It'd be like Lucerne Safeway ice cream, 1 gallon. It's not melted when you get it. It's frozen when you get it. If you didn't like it, tough shit. Suck an egg. Like, if somebody doesn't like the service, I'm going to have a fuck you policy. That's what I'm going to have. I'm not kissing people's asses. Tough shit. Buy a vanilla milkshake. Yeah. You know, these rich people who think they can get away with all this complaining, I'm going to have a no Karen policy. Kiss my ass, Karen. We got to make a stand against these narcissistic, communist, selfish people. You bought candy when you were drunk. Yeah, you paid quadruple the price. I don't blame you for being mad. You're the dummy who didn't stock up the fridge before you got fucked up. So I provide a service. Like, what are you going to do when you buy too much cocaine from your coke dealer? Call the police? No. You quit your drugs. You quit getting high at night. So you're going to have to exercise some adult control if you're buying ice cream. Maybe I charge $40 a gallon. Yeah, midnight munchies. Exactly. That's what we're serving here. My customers are drunken stone people and people on meth who are just awake all night long. Everything's closed. Meth and burger. I heard some funny meth stories from AA. And they're like, yeah, the person's like, I used to do a lot of meth. And I just got tired of finding myself taking apart the lawnmower at 3 a.m. in the garage with the light on. That just sounds like a meth story, right? I got tired of finding myself in the garage at 3 a.m. taking apart the lawnmower high on meth. Oh, that just cracks me up. Midnight munchies. You can munch. Can you reserve this? ? Lando, you can reserve it. If you want to steal my idea, don't. It's my idea. Don't be stealing my ideas. Meth and PCP. I feel sorry for people who do meth. It's like the opposite. Like when I get high, I want to get calm. I want to just do nothing. Like when it comes to marijuana, I like indica, which is very calming. I like a little bit of coffee, but not a lot of coffee. I don't want to get all speeded out. But some people, they've got, their brain is wired in a way where the speed, the methamphetamines, is pleasurable for them. A lot of people say they like to have sex when they're on the meth. Orlando says, I mean, I would be willing to help with the app. Okay, Lando, are you a programmer or what? You can just be a money guy too. Okay. That's my email, lambert@gmail. Well, right now, Lando, if you want to help me build the website and the app, we can split it. And what that means is if we can run the whole business, just you and I, then we exit for $10 million, you get 5 million, I get 5 million. However, let's say we got it going. We're in the app store for Apple and Android. We got the server going. We're making some money, but we need to hire some people. We need to raise some money, okay? So let's say we got to give away 10% of the equity to venture capital for some money. Well, now there's 90% left over. So that means 45 for you, 45% for you, and 45% me. However, we got to come up with vesting too. Like, what if in 6 months you're like, I don't want to do this anymore, Wayne? Just give me. We got to come up with some kind of vesting. So, I don't want to give away half the company to you, but you didn't do anything. So we'd have to be smart about this. And the whole goal here is to make money. Actually, it is actually to make money. So we got to come up with an exit. And we also are passionate about this idea, and we want to bring this idea to market because we believe this is a fun idea. So the goal is to drive this product forward. Now, I want to say that we might have to give away 90% of the company to venture capital. Let's say 80%. So if you walked away with 10% and I walked away with 10% equity at the end, and at the end of 3 years, we could be really filthy rich because they might give us so much money we turn it into a $1 billion company. So we've got a plan for the exit in mind. And if you're flexible and you want to keep working on it with me, and we want to drive this product to our ultimate goal, which is making money and maybe going public on the stock market, that would be nice. Sometimes we raise venture money, they'll be like, we like you, Wayne, but we don't want you running the business. You got a great idea, and we're going to give you golden handcuffs. You're locked in for 10% equity. You're an advisor when we need you. And Lando, you might be in that role also. Lando and Wayne are out. They both get 10% equity. We're driving this car off the cliff. Yeah. So in the world of startups, there's a philosophy: build it or buy it. And we would be building it. Okay. And so companies like Facebook are mature companies who are bloated and they couldn't get out of their own way. They can't program themselves out of a box. They're incompetent because they're woke. So since they're such fuck ups, but they're rich, they can't build anything because they're fuck ups. So they have to buy the competition before the competition puts them out of business. So they have so much money that they start buying competition so they can claim high advertisers. They just own all these ecosystems. Microsoft does the same thing. People are always trying to take part of Microsoft's lunch. And so they buy these competitors. So dating sites, dating websites. There's a company called IAC run by Barry Diller, who used to run Paramount Studios, and they own probably 20 of the most popular dating sites in the world. And if you have a dating site with 1 million users, they will acquire you for about $10 per user. If you have 900,000 users, they won't acquire you. But if you have 1 million, they will. OkCupid got bought by them for like $55 million. So we're going to build a company because we want to take it public. They might not let us take it public. We might just get acquired. So, but the main thing is we get investors involved because it's the venture capital or like a global money mafia, and they're going to apply all their magic to the company, and they're going to come up with all these big projections, and it's all pump and dump. The whole thing's a big elaborate scam for the stock market. People be like, oh, you just don't understand Wayne and Lando. These guys are geniuses. This company's valued at $30 billion. You should have got in early. Yeah. Well, where are Lando and Wayne now? Well, it was growing so fast, we had to put in some other management. So their advisors, like they're just selling this thing. Everybody's trying to have a legal exit in the stock market. Have you seen that website called Bumble? It's a terrible excuse for a dating website. It's useless. It's super fucking useless. I think the whole purpose is to spy on people's conversations. It's dog shit. And they went public, and it's a woman company. It's a woke company. It's so stupid. So there isn't any legitimacy to going to the stock market. It's all fraud. So if you know this starting in advance, then we engineer the company to enable their fraudulent behavior. Oh, Lando, thank you. Ban filters so no one can fake themselves would have saved me some trouble. Yeah. Or have it bought by some bigger company like Grubhub. Yeah, I know the founder of Grubhub. He reached out to me when I started SF Survey. He was a few years after my SF Survey. Good for them. Like I'm a founder, and I just want to bring a founder's like a parent. And sometimes you can't take care of your baby. Your baby might have problems. And all startups have problems. They're like children with cerebral palsy, but they're pretty sure with the right amount of money, your baby's going to be an Olympic runner someday, and they're going to straighten out those legs. But man, you're going to have to do a lot of babysitting. So it really, the more money you can raise, the more of their Ivy League friends you can shove into all those positions. And they all start doing the drugs. And they're like, oh, this is the best thing. We're all getting rich. And they convince everybody's getting rich. And before you know it, everybody's getting rich. And then in 10 years, the whole thing goes bust and bankrupt, and it gets bought for pennies on the dollar. It turns into MySpace or Friendster. Like the whole stock market's a sham to begin with. So this is why we got to make sure we have a decent idea. So this guy, Mark Andreessen, he was the founder of Netscape, the world's first commercial browser after the Mosaic browser. And now he runs a venture capital fund called A16Z. So it's Mark Andreessen and I think David Horowitz. I'm not sure what David Horowitz has ever done, but he must be a genius. And so they funded Uber and Airbnb and a bunch, maybe some Facebook, a whole bunch of all these modern companies they funded. And their philosophy is that software will eat the world. Let me get this website for you. You can read their business philosophy. Like literally, they might just steal the idea from us. That's the world we live in. Lando. So Lando. Now I'm going to triple the amount of money you just made. So the sweets delivery business is really good. We like it. Well, the software you write for this, we could use for my pasta delivery, and we could use it for my smoothie delivery business idea. So I got pasta.delivery, smoothie.delivery, and sugar.delivery. So those are 3 thin vertical markets that don't really overlap. Legalize drugs and the cartels go away. So do corrupt judicial, prison, and cops. Focus on rehab. What would be better for society? Oh, lunch Landmore. I agree with you. I want to legalize all drugs. However, I'm gonna do this. The cartels are not going away. We're taking the cartels public. The cartels are going to become 10 times more wealthy for following the law. And this way they don't kill me. So I'm going to legalize their business and make them more wealthy and more powerful through the legal process. Isn't that good? I think it is good. Lando, let me just go check my email and verify I got it. Oh. Does your email say Coomer? Great. I got it. Well, friends, I didn't plan on being Lando. We probably should. I mean, we kind of just discussed the whole business idea. Maybe we should have a private conversation just to kind of talk about some stuff. I actually don't have all the answers on the partnership agreement, but the spirit is that we're a team. I'm splitting the money with you. You're splitting the money with me. We might have to share our equity with other people too. So the like we would be blessed if we could sell 90% of the equity to the venture capital community. Like that might mean we give away 90%, but we raised $100 million through different rounds of funding, A round, B round, C round. And the more we get them addicted to our thing, the more they're going to push it everywhere. They're like a mafia. So if we treat it like this, we might have success. All right, we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to say thanks to everybody here. I'm going to go through it here. Lando Clarizian was one of the first, and then Yolanda Payne. Ash was here. And then Boyd Floyd. Loch Lawnmore. I think I'm pronouncing that right. AI 1337. It's been a really fun night, friends. It really has. And Charles Smith. Good to see you, Charles. Good luck on your permit this week for your commercial driver's license. Wonderful. You land a plane. You land a plane? Oh, you land a plane. Oh. Thank you. That actually helps out. I always just want to mention, like in sales, I have this book called The Book of Excellence, and it says, always ask for the business. Don't worry about your technique or style. So this is where I'm asking for donations. It's in my description below. If you've got the ability to send me a few dollars through Bitcoin or Cashapp, that would be great. And soon I'll get to 1,000 subscribers, and I might be able to earn some money through YouTube. I'm not sure because I don't have a lot of views, but I do have a lot of hours. In the last month, I had 550 hours viewed, which sounds like a lot. They only need you to have 4,000 hours to qualify, which I do qualify. Because a lot of videos are 1 or 2 minutes, where mine are very long discussions. And also, I want to just thank everybody for being willing to invest the time and have a conversation about politics. While my chances are low being elected as president, they're not zero. And our ideas could live on for eternity. You know, I started talking about reparations 7 years ago, 7 years and 8 months ago. And now reparations for Black people is becoming a thing. And I didn't invent UBI, but I had it as my campaign promise. And, you know, these could be things in the future. So in 3D printed concrete homes, like literally, I encourage all politicians to copy my campaign. Like, put me out of business. Copy my ideas. Free machine guns for all citizens if they want to go through a month long of military training. Soon, I'm going to have my campaign promises on the website, and I'm going to keep adding to them. And I'm just really trying to show other politicians how to be a good leader and how to interact with the public, and how to try to please the taxpayer, the voting public. And I'm also going to try really hard to enlist the youth to vote. We're at a time when Zoomers and millennials are very connected. These people are adults, and we need to treat them like adults, and we need to listen to what they want, because they're paying taxes mostly for the boomers' retirement. And the future is theirs. So let's give them an opportunity to vote on the future that they're going to live through. And I think we have a good chance at shaping our world in the image we choose. You want a free pony? Okay. We're going to have to come up with government ponies. The government's going to have to buy a bunch of ponies, and you can reserve a pony to go read. Yeah. Free everything. Rich people get it for free. They didn't earn it. We'll have to continue this free discussion. I love it. I love the whole free idea. There's so many resources. Like nationalizing our oil is one of the steps to having more free things. We gave away probably $1 trillion resource to 10 rich old white guys, when the citizens should be benefiting from this natural resource. So I'm going to have ideas that aren't popular with everybody. And I hope you guys will help me figure out what are the good ones and what are the ones I got to get rid of. So it's sausage. It's a messy process, and I hope we all enjoy the results. Yeah, fuck fracking. We're getting rid of fracking. Fracking is terrible. Yeah. Fracking destroys the groundwater forever because we're putting in solvents. The chemicals they are injecting in the earth are known to cause cancer. You got to wear a bunny suit when you're around this stuff. So thank you all for being here, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Good night.